Something is going on. Some of us see it, some of us feel it. It's time to expand your thinking. You will need to reset everything you thought you knew about the world, about the people you trust, about history, about yourself. Let me tell you a story. For a very long time, our world has been under the growing influence of a vast transgenerational criminal mafia that was able to rise up to the highest levels of power. We didn't know because they talked and acted just like you and me. We thought we could recognize true criminals by their words and actions, but were deceived by their sophisticated speech, wealth, education, beauty, and power. Through a system of threats, blackmail, and bribery, they would come to occupy the highest levels of power in government, corporations, and education. You may know them as the deep state or cabal. Most dangerously of all, they achieved almost total influence over the media, their primary means of controlling the good people of the world who were just trying to get on with living. They used this power to slowly convince us that we were the problem, that we were a threat to each other. They used race, gender, and religion to set us apart, and rewrote history to validate these false claims. They funded both sides of wars just to crush our potential to prosper and succeed as a peace-loving and creative force of good for the world. Now, with their firm grasp on the media, we drank in their entertainment and lies as they began their final phase, the total takedown of America. We were the brightest remaining beacon of freedom and humanity's last hope. They knew that if they could take America, the rest of the world would follow. They cut deals that led us to hand over total control of the money system to a private central bank, the Federal Reserve. This made it possible to influence Washington, D.C., and most of our presidents since then were beholden to the criminals in one way or another. Things took a really bad turn when they concentrated vast power into the hands of the many civilian intelligence agencies throughout the world. They said they were there to protect us. Instead, these agencies were catastrophically weaponized to boost drug and human trafficking cartels, assassinate political opponents, undermine the military, and change regimes of foreign governments who did not want to adopt the centralized system of money control. You might think they would choose simply to remain in the shadows running their criminal activities while we carried on with our lives. But as long as there was freedom for the people to prosper, the cabal were always at risk of being discovered and shut down. There was no way to continue without a plan to eliminate all threats to their survival, even if it meant imposing a single world government under their jurisdiction, where no national identity, police force, or military could stop them. They called it globalism. Exploiting our emotions and our instincts of compassion, they found a way to justify dismantling cultures, borders, and national identity under the guise of social justice, creating false narratives of racism, colonialism, and capitalism to destabilize and ultimately collapse societies so they were no longer secure enough to reject this dark plan for the world. Where there was no history to distort, they would use wars to force a catastrophic mass migration of peoples across borders to destabilize and weaken cultural identity. When we didn't accept this, they called us intolerant and shamed us into silence. By 2008, America was in advanced stages of economic decline, with disastrous trade deals leading to widespread loss of jobs and a devastating financial crisis. The cabal had now absorbed another extensive criminal empire that was aligned with a twisted and radical form of Islam. Realizing the competition could threaten their goals, they decided to cooperate and agree to mutual terms. Now a hostile foreign enemy was able to insert a subordinate into the U.S. political system who would become the president. Saudi Prince Al-Walid bin Talal funded Obama's Harvard education and took power by proxy, picking his entire cabinet while buying vast quantities of control in our largest media companies. The Western faction of the cabal was different. It was another kind of sick altogether. A dark and deeply sinister death cult with a strong reliance on symbolism and numerology, with levels of cruelty unimaginable to all right-thinking people. The reach and scale the secret society had achieved would have sent destabilizing shockwaves across the world were it ever to be publicly exposed. They were highly skilled at living just below the surface as they worked their way into the United States presidency. With both factions of the global mafia now in control, are you ready to hear what they had planned? Make sure you're sitting down. They installed rogue operators in government. They opened back doors to leak highly classified military intel and top-secret special access programs. They cut military funding and weakened the command of generals with irrational new rules of engagement. They worked to dismantle NASA and end our supremacy in space. They infiltrated and exposed defensive military intelligence programs that reduced our ability to detect foreign and domestic threats. They used our trusted agencies to target and weaken political opponents. They relaxed our borders and enabled passage of millions of illegals and violent criminal gangs. They moved money to fund global terrorism, resulting in groups like ISIS moving to capture vast territories throughout the world. In 2016, the Cabal Alliance had hoped to retain power. If you are not yet chilled to the bone by the picture that is forming about their intentions for us all, let me tell you what was to come next. Through international climate change scams, they would have siphoned trillions of remaining wealth, eliminate the last good guys in government, and withdraw total funding from the US military, handing over the responsibility of our defense to the United Nations. They would revise the Constitution to weaken our ability to fight back, ban the sale of firearms to eliminate our self-defense, insert their people into the Supreme Court, remove the Electoral College system to neuter our voting power, and totally eliminate alternative media to shield them from exposure. They instigated a covert deal to move large quantities of our uranium to their captured states in North Korea and Iran to build up a nuclear arsenal that would threaten the world. For this, they blamed Russia, a growing force of opposition to their ambitions of global control. By casting Putin as an enemy and blaming him for this illegal uranium deal, they had planned a devastating nuclear world war between America and Russia that would have exhausted the last two remaining pillars of freedom for the world, accelerating the horrific endgame that had become inevitable. This cabal miraculously lost power in 2016 when a brave operation, led by a U.S. military alliance and their global partners, were able to return power legitimately over to the light. They had a plan of their very own, one that was many decades in the making. With Donald Trump selected for the role of president, the people of America was slowly awakened to the reality of the world they live in. With so much hidden and lied about in the media channels we had come to trust for our news and entertainment, this alliance of good set into motion a sophisticated strategy of dismantling the vast network of corruption that had almost completely overcome every level of government, industry, and the legal system. They knew they had to follow the laws of the land as they were originally intended, otherwise they themselves would be delegitimized, even though they were just trying to free us from the silent stranglehold of tyranny that we had come to accept as normal. The panicking deep state used any remaining power they had left to try and save themselves. Each day for 2 years was a careful and meticulously planned balancing act between public perception and the job that needed to be done. Moving too fast would shock and scare a sleeping public still living in the prison of the mind that was created for them. But after all this, it appears now that not only are we winning, but we have won. The trajectory of this great storm is now radiantly clear. Now we look forward to a new future, thanks to the brave patriots who risked everything to save our world. This time for good. There is not a person alive who has experienced what a world without this darkness could be like. A world of free energy that was kept from us to force our dependency on their fossil fuel monopolies. Abolishment of income tax that was illegally imposed to pay back interest on loans taken from the cabal banking system. Released cures for our most deadly diseases. Unleashed space technologies to open frontiers we never dreamed possible. New technologies creating millions of jobs and yielding a global human renaissance the likes of which we have never seen. Fellow Americans and citizens of the world, now it is our turn to shine. Wherever we are, we will become the plan when we choose to reject what they called globalism. We recognize the words they use to bend us to their will, and we say no more. It's time to turn off the media, follow your instincts, trust yourself, and be the plan. May God bless America and the world.
This call is to Steve Lewis at the Devon Bank at 6445 Northwestern Avenue, Suite 300. Area code 773-723-2519. My name's Alexander Barnett, and this is regarding the trust number 2, which has been absconded with after I was told it would be turned over after 1 was divested. Anyway, here comes the call.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and... Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? Hang on, let's wait. Hang on. 773-423-2519.
Please hold while I try to connect you. Your call has been forwarded to the voicemail for Steve Lewis. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
This message is for Steve Lewis. My name is Alexander Barnett. Apparently, you're holding my trust. Would you please give me a call back? It's 702-355-9811. Again, 702-355-9811. Let's try Cyrus.
Please hold while I try to connect you.
Bank, this is Steve.
Steve Lewis?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Alexander Barnett. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm terrible, thank you. But I appreciate you.
Okay.
I appreciate you asking. Apparently, you and I have a situation where somehow we have become involved with one another. You, me, and the Devon Bank, and apparently Cyrus. Who's Cyrus Bowman?
That's exactly right.
I don't know who's Cyrus Bowman.
Yes, so we work together here.
Okay, what's his title?
He's assistant administrator.
Assistant administrator. Okay. I got your email on January 10th. That was the first bit of correspondence I received from you. I first heard of you on December 7th when I received a letter from Terry Chapman stating his attorney for both Milton Lefton and my mother, where there's a tremendous conflict of interest is what I'm finding out all of these years later. That said, saying that he had retired retroactively, or he had retired, he's telling me on December 7th that he had retired on October 21st of 2022 and had just, I guess, discharged my trust number 2 to you. With that, I'm having trouble breathing.
Take your time.
With that, so this is December 7th, saying that on October 21st that he retired and you accepted the administration of my trust on the 24th. The 21st is my mother's birthday. I want you to know that was done very specifically before we go any further. Okay, this is nastiness and deviousness. Now, I've copied you on a couple of emails in the last month.
Yes, I did. I have seen those.
Okay, have you been through? Have you perused through them?
Oh yes.
All right.
Yes. So
Are you?
Flavor of what has been going on?
Okay. I'm shocked that I haven't heard from you since then, and I got to tell you, I'm extremely disappointed and also alarmed. Let's just get that off the table. I mean, you see what the hell's going on. You realize you're involved in something here, whether you're willing to, want to, or being, whether that raises alarm bells for you. Is what the hell might you be liable for at this stage of the game? What the hell does this guy put you, in the middle of? But as you can see, I have been trying to get this guy to invest my money, make me money, since I was 14 years old. There is question as to whether he has actually sabotaged me on numerous occasions over the course of the last 36 years. This account was established. I don't know if you've read through the rest of that blog. You got the link. I've been posting this since July because I haven't been able to get a response out of him for 2 years, let alone have him move my assets, invest my money, try to make me money, protect my assets. Now,
had you guys been able to talk over the phone?
I have not been interested. There's nothing to talk about. I've made my directions and wishes and instructions very clear. I've also demanded audits, performance reviews. I want to know where my money is. I want to know what the fuck happened in the past. Pardon my French. I'm sorry. Let me take a second here. Let me try to cool down for a second. Do you have kids?
Okay.
Do you have children? How many?
Yes. 2 boys.
2 boys. How old?
Yep.
How old are they? We're getting to know each other here. I don't have kids. My whole life has been fucked up and disarranged, and have been abused. We'll get into the story. I'm sorry. How old are your boys?
Yep. The youngest is 19 and
19.
25.
Okay. All right. Cool. Are either of them trans? Do they have pronouns?
Funny you should ask. One of them is not sure.
Huh. Okay. How do you feel about
younger
that, if I may ask? As their father.
I was surprised. You're surprised initially, but it's one of those things where you have to adjust.
Okay.
I mean, what else can you do?
My mother wouldn't have adjusted. She would have slapped the shit out of me. Now, granted, I'm 50 years old. This was a different time.
Yeah.
The gay parade.
Right.
The gay parade used to come through town, right in front of the house. Right. I grew up at Fullerton and Lakeview. I don't know if how familiar with you're familiar. You're familiar with the city, right in the middle of Lincoln Park. Yeah. They're passing out dildos and butt plugs. I mean, butt plug Dean is now apparently at my high school.
Which high school was it?
Francis Parker, the very expensive one down in Clark and Webster.
Yeah. In fact, I know it well. My son had a bunch of friends.
I'm sure
that had gone there. Yeah.
It was a great place. It was a great childhood. It was a great sort of thing. But I'm just, I don't know. It's a different world. I have not paid attention at all. I grew up in a house where we did not talk about politics. It was, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It wasn't, part of my mom. I don't know what her beliefs were. I can see a little bit, I think, maybe having gone through the 990 forms from her charitable foundation, which I was also kept away from. And, there's millions of dollars that are gone. I've been trying to get an investigation. I've been trying to get an audit. I've been trying to get some understanding. I received nothing. I got stonewalled. I've had to pull the 990 forms myself and put together a spreadsheet, try to get an overall view of what happened. And some of it's right, some of it may not be, because I haven't done this in 30 years. I've been, worked on an Excel spreadsheet since, college. So, I had to go and watch YouTube videos like everybody else and figure this out. But it also took up 2 weeks of my time where I can't work. I can't, work on what I'm supposed to be, what I'm focused on and have been focused on. Have you been to my website, by the way? Did you click on the link to my...
Take your focus away.
Well, right. Which I've been trying to figure out what the next thing is, since the last thing is that I figured out and found, which he shut down. Let me tell you what that was. We also point out that a bunch of money went to organizations for the elderly from the Barnett Foundation. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
I built a website. I built a social network, which was it was a hybrid of LinkedIn and MySpace, but for old folks. It's called friendsover50.com. I was 35 when I built it. And I did it with credit card debt of like 30 grand, which they hunted and hounded me after for years. And $9,000 that I borrowed from my trust, which from my best estimation in 2007 was about 1.2. But I can't find that out because I can't get a history. I can't get a trade history. I got no clairvoyance or transparency into my own financial affairs. And I've been demanding this now for 2.5 years, let alone a series of demands in 2018. Now, my question is, what the fuck happened to Trust One? And again, I apologize for cussing.
Now, do you know?
I spent 2.5 years building this social network. I had 34,000 users and climbing at the time, 1,700th most popular site on the on the internet at the time. And the guy shuts down my business over $9 grand that I borrowed from the trust. 200 here, 300 here. I got the emails posted on that on that page. That's documented. You can see that. I went back to the Wayback Machine to go and find what bits and pieces of the website that I could find. It's still there. I mean, this dude's been fucking with me my entire life.
That was kind of ahead of its time.
You bet your ass it was. He didn't understand it, or if he did understand it, I got 50 more emails, begging and pleading for those $200 and $300, $400 at a time for file my business license to file, with AP Wire to try to get a press release out there, which I did get an interview from some magazine, and I'm trying to help the ARP. I mean, I didn't even ask the dude for advertising dollars or marketing dollars or PR dollars. Let alone Dick Edelman, who was speaking at the World Economic Forum yesterday, played at my mother's tennis club over at Diversity in the Lake. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities there. Let alone all the other companies that North Star has invested in over the years that they proudly display in a display case in the front of their office. Things like the Slinky.
Was that pre-Google even? What year was that?
No, because I got Gmail at the time.
Yeah, Gmail. Okay, so right around.
Right.
I know when Google first came out, went public, they weren't really sure what their business model was going to be.
No, but I tried to get him to invest in that. I tried to get him into Amazon. I tried to get him into, all kinds of shit. I mean, I've been on augmented and virtual reality now since 2016. Mom dies in 2009 and leaves me a second $500,000, which apparently you have now. Have you taken a look at that, by the way? Have you taken a look at my portfolio? You see what's in there? You see when I bought it? Have you gone to look at the charts and see that hasn't done shit? And he hasn't made any attempt in the slightest to make me money. I've been trying to get him to buy gold since 1990. The economic, the gold advisor to 6 U.S. presidents and the gentleman who also simultaneously sat on the board of 6 mining companies on the board of their directors, told me to buy gold in 1990. His son lived next door to me in college. We're still in touch. We're still friends. He has had problems with substances and came and destroyed my house in Miami. It did like $9 grand worth of damage, and I couldn't get left to sue this guy or to go after his father legally. I mean, they're billionaires. To go and, get anything. Instead, he lets me get sued and then takes the money that got sued and takes it out of these disbursements that I've been, that I traded my freedom for. If you read the original trust in 1985, there was supposed to be 3 disbursements of 1/3, leaving me to be free and independent and act like a grown-ass man like anybody else. And, this was taken from me when I suggested automated trading algorithms and the fact that he wasn't making me money after he shut down my website. You can see him. I mean, that's clearly also documented.
Trading algorithms. That's.
I was suggesting quant trading to him in 2007. It might have even been 2006. And then 5 weeks after that, he says, come in and let's talk about the terms of your trust. 5 weeks after that, I get enslaved to this motherfucker. And then have him not do shit with my accounts. Now, I've been currency trading for the past month.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never done this before, or day trading, on the day trading software applications. I've been on Oanda. I've been using TradingView for my charts. I have an MT4 account, and these are things that I've all, now this motherfucker could have told me about this 15 years ago. Here's 10 grand. Go learn how to trade. Leave me the fuck alone.
What pairs do you trade?
Shit. It depends on what's going on. I've got a friend of mine from high school whose father's been doing this for 30, since before he was born. My friend's a year older than I am. He's been has been doing this. He knew what a pip was before he knew the word apple. All right. He's been watching these charts instead of paying attention to other things. He plays the guitar and he watches the charts, right? He's been doing that since he was in high school. I met him in high school, right? His father cornered the market. This dude's father cornered the market twice. He pulled the Trading Places, right? Which I saw in the theater at the time. And remember Jamie Lee Curtis's titties, right? They were great. And now she turned out to be a lunatic. You see the photos? Did you see the shit on her from her office wall? I don't know if you...
No.
Oh, yeah, dude, I've become a full-blown conspiracy theorist in the last couple of years. I haven't paid attention to politics. I read an article with Jerry Garcia. I was into the dead and when I was in high school. And he says, he asked me, who are you voting for? He goes, I don't vote. He goes, what do you mean you don't vote? He says, the direct quote was, he goes, when you choose between the lesser of two evils, you still end up with evil. I don't vote. And to me, that sounded pretty good. It sounded like a waste of time. And hearing people in the hallway fighting about stuff, I didn't, fuck it, right? Didn't get involved with sports, didn't follow statistics, didn't waste my time with that. I followed the markets, I followed business. I started trading with my grandmother in 1985. I bought my first shares when Trust One was established with $500, allegedly, is what I'm told. I can't get any information. What did we buy with the $500, I ask? I can't get any information. They won't tell me. Let me see what happened. And by the time I graduated in high school, let's see, why can't I see that? I've been asking for this for years. If you got nothing, now my question is how long has it not existed? Did he Madoff me? I'm watching this. Have you watched this Bernie Madoff series on Netflix?
I know it well. I started the first part of it, but I know the whole story.
Of course you do. We all do. But I thought this was a good rendition. Do you have this?
Did you see all of it?
No. I fell asleep. I started watching it in the middle of the night and because my buddy, the trader guy's son, my friend who I've been trading Forex with. By the way, let me tell you, I started the account one on my phone with 10 grand. And that was literally less than a month ago. And it is currently at $262,868. I have a second account that I started like 4 or 5 days ago with a $100,000 balance using the TradingView app. That's now at $3 million. Let me tell you exactly what it is right now. I got some gold open, because I've been trying to tell him to buy gold for, since 1990. We're at 19.
Do you buy? How do you buy it?
Just buying. I'm buying lots. I'm going long and going short. I got a little margin on there. I got a little leverage, and I've got $3 million in the account, and I've got equity of $4.8 million. I'm waiting for this thing to go back up to 40 so I can close it out or reach a new high, even better. I mean, this is not rocket science. What the fuck has this guy been doing for the past 36, let alone 14 years since my mom died? How does Trust One, which had $698,000, how's it gone to zero, especially during the Trump years? Let's say the Obama years were also pretty solid if you look at the charts. How come my trust is significantly underperforming the rest of the market? The S&P, the NASDAQ, the whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the market was down last year.
I'm talking. Well, of course it was. Of course it was. And I've been trying to tell him to get the fuck out of them, get me out for 2 years now. For 2 years, every day. Did you see the video with the 700 text messages? with Robert Kiyosaki, with Ray Dalio, with Michael Burry, with all the people, the top financial people on earth. Ray Teal, everybody. How much did you lose last year? You didn't lose anything. You made money last year if you were smart. Because you took advantage of this crisis, which I was trying to get him to do. Or hedge, land, something tangible. Fuck me, get me out. He did the same thing to me in 2008. And then I'm trying to buy a house. I said, it's going to crash. I'm going to move to Florida. I want to start, buying some real estate, which he's forbidden me from using my trust to put the down payment so that I can then pay my trust. Like my brother's been doing. He's bought and sold and traded up on 3 occasions already. There are rules about impartiality in the documents, in the Illinois Trust Code, let alone duty of disclosure, duty of loyalty, duty of care, duty to protect trust property. So I want to buy real estate in Florida. When my mom dies, I got a little bit of extra money. I want to put down a down payment and stop paying fucking rent at the bottom of the market, knowing it's going to come up. So what happens? The guy puts my fucking trust into mortgage-backed securities and into real estate investment trusts. The same shit that A, crashed the economy in the first place, and B, the same thing I'm asking for. And then I go to his LinkedIn page, not his LinkedIn page, but his company profile. He owns a real estate and development company, let alone owning a house in Lake Geneva and his apartment that he lives in and having a timeshare in Hawaii. And I can't pick up a single piece of real estate for 30 years? Since I was 27 years old. Not even, I was in college. The rest of my friends own their houses. Their parents own their houses.
Where did you go?
I finished at Lynn University. I have a checkered history with college and education in general. I'm extremely ADD, and I'm also diagnosed with dyslexia, which I don't think is really that bad, but I get my rights and my lefts confused once in a while.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
Which is not good. You're right. You're absolutely right. Which is, by the way, is not good with for trading. Confusing your rights and your lefts. My ups and my downs aren't a problem, but my rights and my left. And I've gone the wrong way on some stuff early on. I lost it, a nice chunk. And it took me a while to recover early on. But
So you haven't figured out yet just reverse your position.
Right, I hadn't figured that out yet. And I'll be honest with you, I still haven't figured that out. I've only been doing this for a month, but I've seen the button and I don't know what to do. And at this stage of the game, I'm in a kind of position to grab swings in both ways. And there are certainly places where you're at the top and it's only going to come down. So, and I've got myself enough of a sweet spot at this point where I can afford to wait. So, and I mean, why did this motherfucker turn me on this, 20 years ago? Open up a virtual account. If you make some money, I'll get you some bread. See what you can do. Teach me how to trade. The chick he brought into the company with him, in the box below him on the website. Her name's Sherry Egan, who also sits on the board of my mother's foundation, which I've been kept away from and not been a part of, while he's literally bought $300,000 worth of Shakespeare tickets for himself.
Trading view isn't around then.
No. But MT5 has been around since the 80s. CQG has been around since fucking the 70s. So so basically we've got a long, nasty history here. If you see, he's also said he was going to release my trust to me and not, and set me free, which, means I'm going to come around and sue him immediately, if not sooner. Because I'll have, money with which to sue him with. I tried to get him to give me money from the trust, and you can see that he bankrupted me for doing so. Took the last $100,000 there and took it to fucking zero, instead of actually investing it or doing something or flipping or conserving or putting it into fucking silver when it was $15 a pop. I mean, literally. I mean, I took this $100,000 account and it's now we're about to cross the $5 million mark. If I cross, I've been trading this thing for 4 days. This is not right.
Gold.
I mean, this is just this gold trade. I got I grabbed it at let's see, where was my average was at 1929, but I started scooping it up much earlier than that. So again, yeah, hey, what did you lose in 2020? Or did you get yourself out? You got out, you made money. I mean, you can see 30 emails at least that that's only the ones that I posted of me telling this guy to get me the fuck out.
Yeah,
I'm glad. I hope you're taking this thing seriously because I certainly am. And I certainly don't want to end up having a problem with you guys. So, moving forward, I am more than reluctant to even begin opening up any sort of a relationship. To be quite honest with you, with what I've been through, with how he saddled me with you, I don't know who the fuck you guys are. Looking at your, going through your website, I'll be honest with you, I'm more than concerned.
Now, so when you were here, were you familiar with us at all?
No.
When you lived here?
No, why? No, I go up to Devon to eat. Maybe. No, right. I got a bunch of Pakistani friends, so I go up there to eat quite a bit. My mom liked Henna's Kitchen, so we go up there quite a bit. But other than that, no, I was not familiar with you guys. And I mean, my I'm dealing with downtown banks. My accounts were supposed to go to Northern Trust.
Okay.
That was my understanding. My understanding that the North Star Investment Management firm was a legitimate organization. They're telling they claim to the SEC that I'm not a client. I'm not a client. I was never a client there. They then they told FINRA that Lefton no longer works there. Do you have a prior relationship with this guy? With
No.
Lefton? Do you know him from synagogue or something? Or from the JUF or?
No, just from when he, the relationship here when he, as far as the trust.
Okay, hang on real quick. I'm so sorry. I meant to tell you, I'm recording this call. I need everything on record at this point moving forward and moving backwards. And I really should have told you that at the beginning of the call. I hope that doesn't change anything. I hope that doesn't make you uncomfortable and nervous, but I probably should have told you that at the beginning just for the sake of legal reasons. I'm doing it now to try to cover my ass in case that becomes an issue. But again, this is supposed to be an open conversation. You should have nothing to hide, hopefully, and I certainly don't. I've been as transparent as I can possibly be and will continue to be. That was the deal that I had with him, but apparently he's been lying to me for the past 40 years while telling me to be honest with him. Never tried to cheat the trust, never tried to scam extra money, tried to do shit legitimately. Let me tell you what the process here was, right? So, we re-signed this trust. He's paying my bills and giving me a stipend, and I'm going to move to Florida and get out of the way. This is when Mom dies.
Okay.
This trust was re-signed a couple of years prior to that. I should also mention that I'm homeless, by the way. All right, this guy cut my stipend by a third back on my birthday in April, and left me fucking.
Are you in a hotel currently?
No. I bought a bus. I told him I didn't want to keep pissing away money in rent. I stood my ground, stood up to him. I said, "Fuck you. I'm not going to keep pissing away."
Is that where you currently are?
If you're not going to let me buy a place, how about a bus? I can move around a little bit. I invested. We got these little bit of chunks of money from instead of cashing out. Instead of getting control of my own affairs, to hire my own investment advisors, to hire my own tax attorneys, to hire my own take care of my business. There should be what? How much should there be in there? 10, 15, 20 million? This is not what was supposed to happen. This guy was supposed to be making me money. I was supposed if AIG went from 48 to over 1,000. That was that first trade. And it split half dozen times on the way up. And he sold it for less than he bought it for. That was the original trade that I made with my grandmother that he won't give me any information about. We also bought Motorola on that day. This is pre-cell phone.
Wow, that's way back there.
First time I saw a cell phone was in Lethal Weapon, was when they had a brick. Remember that? Mm-hmm.
Well, I saw it in, was it Lethal Weapon or was it Wall Street? Mine was with Wall Street.
I have been ahead of the curve and looking for trends since I was a child and seeing them inadvertently, which is why I try to take advantage of it. And I've been, augmented reality. I'm there in 2015, 16.
Lethal Weapon?
What's that? That was like 1980.
There was one in Lethal Weapon?
Yeah. Someone showed up on, I don't know, there was on the first one, there was it wasn't the brick phone. It still had the briefcase. But it was one of the cops showed up on top of the tower. Something was an explosion or something, and somebody shows up with one, and the captain or something pulls it off the phone and is talking to the command station or something. But I mean, that was that's when I was buying Motorola. Christ Almighty! He finally bought some Microsoft after I was hounding him in 2000. What was it, 16? About emerging technologies. I remember I called him up and I was quoting a line out of the Boiler Room, one of those Giovanni Ribisi lines, telling the guy's a fucking loser and whoever the guy's investing in is a loser because he's investing in antiquated stocks that aren't going to go anywhere. And if you look at my portfolio, seriously, if you pull up my portfolio on the charts and you look at some of them haven't been around, you can't. I don't know how far they go back, but dude, these haven't done shit. He put these things in dogs and let them sit to die. And when they did spike, he didn't cash out ever. There's no cashing out. How long did you have to cash out when COVID hit? If you weren't out by then, you certainly got the fuck out the day they started telling you to start putting on masks. Or you started hearing about Asian flu and viral strains coming to America and stuff. You got the fuck out of the market. This guy sat there and watched the thing slide for 10 days. How did I lose half in 08? Do you think he lost half in 08?
So that was the house.
Yeah. Of course. The first time Jeffrey Epstein got arrested, by the way. I think that I as a conspiracy theorist, I think there's a connection. I think they distracted the entire world from Jeffrey Epstein and took down the entire market. Took down the world. Fucked everybody. You're gonna take Jeffrey away from us? The Davos crew got pissed.
So I know you were receiving Zelle payments.
What's that?
Correct.
What?
Zelle payments.
Yeah, I was. Yes, yeah. Which makes me. I mean, and I'm. And one is actually from an account with his name on it. So what I'm asking and wondering is whether my entire Trust One got stolen. How long ago? If it wasn't making any money and he's just got me on the dole, that's some Bernie Madoff shit. And I can't get a history. He's sending me some tight handwritten letters and statements and shit. Did they copy you on this end of the year reporting nonsense that the attorney sent out? Okay, so I'm sorry. Let's backtrack. How did you get to? How did Lefton find you?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how he initially came, but he I'm not sure where in terms of search wise how it came up, but he was. So I don't know how that initial part of it.
Dude, he found you in a phone book.
After he done. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that part of it actually in terms of how.
I would not be surprised if he actually Googled Islam, knowing that I'm upset about the weaponry and the money that was left in Afghanistan back, and then Joe Biden looking at his watch. I never paid attention until the beginning of 2020. I didn't. And since then I've been paying attention to everything. And I can't concentrate on what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm trying to stop him from bankrupting me. And in the process, I thought I was enlightening him at first. I didn't realize he was complicit. Did you look at that? If you start digging through some of those charities that I highlighted on that spreadsheet, We're talking about homeless transgendered people while he left me homeless. That's where $250,000 went to transgendered surgical procedures on children, gender affirming care. All right. We got climate change and Jules Kornschlager from the World Economic Forum and the Clinton Foundations. Now, I don't know what side of the fence you're on. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to deal with some red pills because the world what's actually is happening. So, and has happened.
One of my buddies at J.P. Morgan.
Yeah.
Pretty far.
Was he at the gold desk? Was he one of those guys that hopefully got arrested or fined? I'm just teasing.
No, he's no. Those are all, and we joke about that because those are like all the New York guys made it bad for everybody in Chicago with all the stuff that they were doing.
Mm-hmm. So obviously I'm well informed. I'm not a jackass just coming off the street and just crying wolf and trying, spoiled child saying wham. I mean, I've been seriously done wrong here. I was trying to get this guy. I tried to get him to put 10 grand into Bitcoin. I can bring you up those emails back in 2011, 2014, again 2018. As the ones that just the ones that I found. I lost a couple of my old. I lost my Yahoo. Yeah.
I work with high school students.
Right.
As far as a mentor and college readiness.
Right.
So one of the students, I taught a stock market program through the
Good for you, and thank you.
And one of the students,
these kids are retarded.
Way back, he came to me and he said, "Oh, we should start buying Bitcoin for a stock market fund."
Did you listen?
And I had heard of it, but I didn't know. And he came, every week we met every Wednesday. So then every week, I said, "Oh yeah, you must buy Bitcoin." And this kid was a sophomore in high school, and he was right.
Mm-hmm. Of course he was.
A high school kid.
He was. The information was out there if you were looking for it. Algorithmic trading, quant trading was out there if you're looking for it. I was looking for it.
Well, yeah,
I was looking for the next big thing. I found social networking. I got into augmented virtual reality in 2015-16. I'm ahead of the curve at all points, and this motherfucker just keeps kicking me in the ass. So I'm in Chicago. I'm pissing away $2,500, $2,700, $2,800 somewhere in rent, and I got this cool apartment. Well, it was okay. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was cool. And because I needed something, I didn't want to keep paying for storage fees, which I've been paying since my mom died, pretty much in one form or another. Because I couldn't afford a place. I was going to move. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to buy something. I didn't, that I wanted to be in for a while and furnish the fucking place, right? Stop moving around, which I've been doing every couple of years because it sucks. And it's expensive, and you're looking for a better deal or a better place. And I found this old bar on Southport, just north of at Wrightwood.
Yeah, I know it. I know the area. Yeah, so.
Right? And but the problem with the old bar is that the heating bills became ridiculous because they got these tall ceilings and it's an old tin building that leaked out. Yeah. Landlords, it's a pain in the ass. And then there's black mold that ends up growing in the ceiling coming after the ceiling collapses because there's a leak that comes from the shower above. Obviously, I tell the landlord, I take pictures of it, I send it to Mickey. I'm like, dude, I got A, move, B, need to sue this chick for my moving fees, so I don't have to pay for that again. So this was right around the time of one of those disbursements. So instead, makes me pay for the moving fees to bankrupt my personal finances. They've been paying for my moves prior to this. He's not going to let me buy. You're paying for my move, And then you got to go and cover the cost by going and trading, making me some money. Now, allegedly, this account, I don't know. I remember seeing a statement of it being a 2.7 or 8 million, or it could have been somewhere in there. Now, this is only a couple of years ago. And then I decided I'm going to Sri Lanka because I'm not paying $700 a month in gas bills for heat. $10,000 a month I spent 1 month. In all my various fees. It was just going towards nothing. I said, I can't afford VR developers in America. I got my friend, the trader's son, in Sri Lanka, surfing with
Is that Richard Dennis's son?
No.
Or somebody else?
No, this guy's since retired and prefers to stay anonymous. So He's copied on all these emails for the last 2 years. By the way, my friend.
So how did you end up in Vegas?
Because I was trying to go to Sri Lanka because I wanted to hire VR developers. And my friend who was in Sri Lanka had a 5-bedroom house with a pool and a bunch of servants, if you will, help, I guess you'll call them, and a couple of girlfriends. So I said, dude, come on, there's a technology school down here called the Sri Lanka Institute of Technology. You can get interns for free, or you can hire the professors for, half of what you would pay for, all of them for half what you'd pay for one guy in California. I said, that sounds great. Started doing some research. In the meantime, I'm already wanting to become an expat. My friend's on the road. He's been all over the place, right? So I've got some money in the bank. I'm pissing this away. I'm doing month to month on my lease. I got black mold growing in here. I'm going to get the fuck out. I'm going to go to, I'm going to go hang out with my buddy in Sri Lanka. I'll go get my shots. And I'll get my passport. I haven't left the country since I was 17. And he knows this. I've been trying to leave the country every year since I was 17. And for one reason or another, he's put up some kind of a roadblock. So I'm like, look, I'm not looking to take a pay cut. I'm looking to reallocate my funds. Now, by the way, at the time, and it is again right now, but the Sri Lankan rupee was 400-1 in favor of the U.S. dollar. All right? It dropped down to 201 for a couple of years during Trump, but now it's back up to 350. As of today, it's at, where is it? 274. Oh, it's down. Oh, no, 364. Okay. And Thailand also was another place I wanted to hit. I was obsessed with Asian ladies. And also technology. I've been watching YouTube, expats traveling around the world and traveling around China and getting shit made. Out of the the shops where all the pieces from your iPhone come from. So you can find, you can have circuit boards built, you can have watches made, you can have leather goods made, let alone clothes and suits, and I'm watching all kinds of stuff, right? I got Savile Row dreams, man. I never wanted to buy off the rack. But you know what I do? I buy gay resale. That's my tip. You ever been to the Brown Elephant over on? Go to their couture sale when they have them, and go get yourself some nice English banker's suits.
Oh.
Dress think Yiddish, dress British. That was the Hollywood mogul, the last mogul, Lou Wasserman. That was when he moved out to California, and everyone was wearing loose fitting pants and open neck shirts. He put all of his guys in 3-piece wool suits, and they were like, why? He goes, think Yiddish and dress British. Right?
With the ascot.
Well, he might have, but they had to wear ties. No, I don't think you ever saw Lou Wasserman in an ascot. I'd love it. That's more Robert Evans than the ascots. Yeah. I'd love them. Right. I don't have one. That's one thing I do not have in my archives, which have been in storage now for a year and change. When I've said to the dude, let's buy some land, let's get a $20,000 shed I can put my stuff under. Instead of pissing it away, at least I'll own the shed and I'll own the land beneath it and not have to pay for the storage at the end of the year, or so. And it's been a year and a half, and I'm still fucking homeless. I'm living in this van that I bought for $6,000 that doesn't work, which he's known that I haven't been able to start for 9 months now in the hot Vegas sun.
So is it in a safe place?
I'm renting some office space so I can use my computer. I got a desktop. I got an expensive, high-powered animation, digital-ready, next-generation desktop that I built with one of those disbursements back in before I left Chicago, because whatever I had, I couldn't.
What kind of processor? What do you have in it?
Now it's like 5 years old, but I had a 10 core, was it 10 core? Intel chip in there, and I just upgraded. I put a Quadro card in there initially because I was trying to run I needed the CUDA cores for animation, and video rendering. And I spent $7,000 building this thing back in the day. eventually I ended up getting it wasn't VR ready, so I bought a VR, a 970, and I just upgraded to a 3080 when they went on sale a couple of months ago. So I'm finally kind of up to speed. But
sounds like that's one of your things is the whole.
I don't know if you've been on this Chat GPT thing, but I'm writing my own trading algorithms at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
For across the board, or
for Python for TradingView.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this guy is, what the fuck did this guy do to me? So I don't know. I need your help. Can you help me get me?
TradingView makes it easy. It makes it easy to write your own for that.
I know, easy, but you still have to, figure. I mean, there's still errors, and you still have to. There's a lot of troubleshooting.
And you figure it well.
And a lot of adjustment, but okay. Let's take a quick snicker here. Gold is continuing to rise, and this account that I started literally 4 days ago with 100,000 is now at. If I cash this out, it's still going to go higher. We're at $5,450,607.77. How come I can do that in 4 days, and this guy couldn't turn a profit in 14 years? There's something wrong here, and the fact that I can't get any history. People who have nothing to hide don't hide things. Understanding what the Dodd-Frank Act of 2020 and looking what he put my money into and how he did this. I mean, there's gross negligence and gross violations of fiducial duty with malicious intent. How are we going to deal with this situation? And how are we going to safeguard whatever it is that I've got left? What are my assets as of today?
Yeah, so let's see. There's primarily AT&T.
AT&T? I don't know.
Still AEP. AEP still, American Electric Power.
ADP. I don't know. Can I get a copy of what you got?
Yeah.
Is this automated? Is there an automated system that I can get access to so I can watch this in real time?
So,
by the way, I've been trying to get that out of him now for also 2 years. Dude, why can't I see my money? Why can't I see what give me access to North Star Investment has their own trading or has their own, I don't know what their platform is. I got an invite to it in 2014, but was never given access to it. I've been refused. I couldn't see I had to sit here and wait for his quarterly report to find out what the fuck just happened.
Right.
Didn't explain to me that how much of my he put into mortgage-backed securities. You think I would have been okay with that? When I'm trying to, I want to buy a house. Do you think he explained any of that to me? Dude, this guy's been fucking with me for years. So the first thing I need to do is I need to haul his ass into court. Starting with FINRA arbitration, because that's going to be the cheapest way to go. But this is, you seem like a good dude. I don't want to have to fucking sue you too. But also, why didn't you call me? By the way, when was this thing actually signed? When did he actually contact you?
The issue's been getting the assets to come over as far as the transfer.
But I want to know when he initially, when this thing started. So I think he's lying to me and backdated this bullshit.
I don't think
and therefore,
from the paperwork I saw, that was, or the email sent out to you,
No, the next question would be is why wasn't your first question does the client know about this? The beneficiary know about this? Have all of the proper paperwork been filled out upon your retirement? Have you done an audit, which is legally required according to the Illinois Trust? How many trusts do you deal with? Do you deal with a lot of trusts? Are you familiar with the Illinois Trust Code?
Yeah.
Okay. So why wasn't that the first question? Why am I not meeting this guy before anything happens? Has he signed off on this? Which of course I never did. I found out about it 3 months afterwards. After I've been decimated. Dragged into the worst year since 1929. Or at least in 40 years. How come you didn't pick up the phone? How come I didn't hear from you until January 10th when I got an email from you?
Yeah. Well, I needed to have the assets come over.
Dude, someone's handing you $750,000. How come the beneficiary isn't being contacted and a part of the process? It's wrong, dude. If this was you or your kids, you'd be furious. So I'm not going to belabor that point. How are we going to move forward?
Yeah.
Or
so
let's. I don't want to belabor that point, but I will if I have to. And certainly in a court of law, I will belabor that point.
Are you needing? Let me give you my email. Do you have my email?
I do. Yeah, you got copied.
Okay. Because then what we can do is we can set up where you can view everything online.
I'd be very curious to see what I've got or what's happening there.
Yeah.
I'm reluctant to log in and accept this, meaning that I'm accepting this relationship that I've been forced into under duress and under lies and all this bullshit. So I got to be honest, I'm a little skeptical. Hey, real quick, $6,356,000 if I cash out now. Should I hold? There was a candle that previous 3 candles ago it spiked even higher. Hold on, right?
I would say take some.
I don't know that I can do that. There's only a button for cash out.
You've heard of the third to third?
No, nobody taught me how to trade. Nobody ever explained this to me after 30 years. They just kept me away from my own affairs. Fuck off, kid. I'm so mad, dude. This has been a lifetime of abuse. Have you seen that ICU Survivor page? This one's a motherfucker. There's a dude. This guy had me enslaved in upstate New York in what they call using my trust to hold me there. You'll be bankrupted. You'll be cut off. That was the threat. So for 3 years, I was enslaved in a what they call the troubled teen industry. These fucking fake schools that fucking abuse children and basically brainwash them and abuse them to be abused further on later on. There's over 100 kids from this school who've committed suicide.
Oh wow!
Since I left. Okay, so these kids, these kids were okay, I guess. I think we were all there. At least the ones I was with seemed.
Where are they located?
This was upstate New York. It's called Hancock, New York. It's called the Family Foundation School. And there were kids, and there were girls up there that were getting raped. There was, nothing was being done about it. There was all kinds of horrible stuff going on. I lost a testicle up there. I also had my knee bashed out.
So you lived there for a while?
3 years. I was enslaved up there by my trustee. I got kicked out of college for not going to class and smoking weed. All right, was going to dead shows. I was going to school with the sons of billionaires from the East Coast. They all had houses and cottages and ski passes and extra skis and snowmobiles and all kinds of stuff that I was never exposed to. And there was a bar at the edge of campus. I took a year off after high school. I worked at Second City that was founded by my godfather in 1979, rest his soul. My godmother sat on the board of the foundation and quit. And then he put Sharon Egan from his firm on the board instead of, offering me a position. I'm studying theater afterwards, by the way. I'm studying while he's buying Shakespeare tickets for himself. I'm studying at Second City after my mom died, trying to find a way to smile again because I'm so unhappy. I could move back from Florida because I realized I was wasting time and I wasn't going to make any progress. I was standing still. So I came home.
How did you like it there?
I finished college in Boca Raton in Florida. So I started in Southern Vermont. I took a year off, took a couple theater classes and an accounting class. Mom made me take, the most important class I ever took was Accounting 101 at Columbia College in 1989-90. And then she shipped me off. So I got fired from the job I was working at. I was at the Allerton Hotel as a bellhop and then as a doorman and learned the street hustle. And, got canned and I ended up working at Second City for about 6 months. And then Mom shipped me off to school when I wanted to take classes at Second City and get on to Saturday Night Live. So that was trash. And that was Mom's doing, and now I understand why. I got talked her to take me an audition when I was in the 4th or 5th grade, and I auditioned for the part of the kid from A Christmas Story who got his tongue stuck to the lamppost or the flagpole.
Oh, yeah.
I got a call back.
Yeah.
I got a call back. Now, little did I know that wasn't probably really a callback, but Mom wasn't taking me back for the callback. She said the last thing she was going to do, she's like, I got to work. And I'm like, Mom, you ruined my chance at Hollywood. I was bitter forever. Now, understanding 2020 beyond, I realize what the hell's really going on in Hollywood. I understand why she kept me as far away from there as possible.
So it might have been a good thing in hindsight.
In hindsight. No, in hindsight, of course it's a good thing. Mom knew best. That's what I'm finding out all these years later, that she knew what was up. I don't know how she knew.
That's good.
Now, what I'm realizing now is how the fuck did she know? And I got some questions. I was adopted in 1971. My brother 2 years later by my mother, who was a single, non-practicing, Jewish practicing Freudian psychiatrist who'd already been through a round of breast cancer. It sounds like that was rehearsed, right? How was that delivered? That was rehearsed. I've been doing this for years.
That gives her wisdom, though.
Well, right. My mother left home at 16 years old and went to Stanford University. She was teaching the classes of her older sisters for the teachers who were sitting in the back of the room watching Sally Ride fan dancing things on what's now like the modern day View, or like the Viewmaster, or what became the Viewmaster.
Yeah.
Like flip books type things,
Oh, yeah.
Which is really kind of funny, the parallel that really nothing has changed. You've got these oversexed teachers with these kids.
That part never changes, right?
Apparently not. Apparently, I had no clue how the world really worked. I was never taught how to trade, and I was never taught about a whole lot of things, apparently. But one thing that I was taught about was Nazis. My mother took me to concentration camps. My mother took me to Holocaust museums all over the world. Now, when I say I haven't left the country since I was 17, I was everywhere beforehand.
That's when you left.
I went everywhere before I was 17. I saw the whole world. Now I've been around the country since then, but haven't left the States under duress. So we're going to do virtual reality apps in Hong Kong, black mold in the apartment. This is 2017, and the dude cuts me off. I move out of he tells me to re-sign my lease. I said, dude, there's black mold in here. Re-sign your lease. What are you talking about? There's black mold growing in my apartment. I'm an asthmatic since birth. You pay for my asthma medication, and I have the most expensive health insurance on earth. I don't know why that is, other than to drain the account. Same reason I'm renting is to drain the account. So that when it's gone, when he retires, it's gone. The same way as my mother's foundation. My mom's donating $500 here, $100 there, $50 here. There's a couple of charities that got $60,000 because they did some amazing things to help her out, or some things that she wanted to foster. But there's like 2 or 3 donations like that. Now this guy, starts liquidating the fucking thing. $1 million, $2 million goes out one year. I mean, his fees go up to $27,000. From 1,000 while my mother was alive.
Yeah.
If you take a look at that spreadsheet, tell me what I mean. It's the donations page out, I guess, is probably the one to focus on. Look at who these charities are. This is not right, dude. So how do I sue this guy?
Are you still needing funds from the trust?
What? No, dude, this motherfucker. I'm out. I'm getting overdraft fees for my recurring bills at this point. I owe $20,000. $2,500 for my office next month, just so I have internet access and have a place that I can shower. Because I can't afford. I mean, I'm sleeping in my van for a year. Dude, I've been sleeping. I had $1 million in the bank at the beginning of last year, and I'm sleeping in my van. It barely runs. Because I can't get a loan from him to get a bus, let alone a house. I tried to get a cruising vehicle, a little road tripper, vehicle to roam around. But this thing doesn't roam. I had to buy in 1988 because it was the only thing I could afford. Couldn't get a loan from the bank. Using, I showed them my trust documents. They still wouldn't give me a loan. This was August of 2021. Right. There was $1.2 million in there or something, at least at the time. So how do I first thing I need to get documentation for Trust One. I need an audit. I need to find out what the fuck happened, where all that money, and make sure that nothing shady went on. Now, there's his judicial duty, his job, his loyalty first and foremost. Technically, I guess is my new. I don't know how to refer to you yet, but Steve. Okay.
that makes it easy, right?
I was gonna go slave master Steve. I mean, I feel like I've been sold, dude. That's actually what I've been. How this feels is that I've been sold. This motherfucker.
No, that's not the case.
Well, I mean, this was not done for my benefit, as you can see. The guy was telling me he was going to release me at the end of the year when he retired. So I don't know how we ended up here. Other than the fact that I started doing research and finding out what he's done with my mom's trust, and the fact that he really hasn't done anything over the years. And then when I demanded he would, he's refused. Ignored me altogether. With you don't know how the trust works is the repeated statement. If you listen to that conversation with him, did you watch Rand Paul and Rachel Levine go at it in Congress when they were trying to confirm the new health services, human services? Yeah. And how Rachel Levine sat there and repeated the same thing, which had nothing to do with the question that he was asking. Yeah. And you know how did that aggravate the fuck out of you as it did me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's what that guy did to me.
Nothing was getting accomplished.
That's what the guy's been doing to me. And in this conversation, he's doing the same thing. Let alone what my experience with this guy for the past. I mean, every day I wrote this guy a letter and clipped out 5 or 6 articles, headlines with the link. Dude, it's coming. Economic collapse. You saw the stock market got hacked yesterday and got shut down for a couple hours.
I saw it at the beginning of the day, wasn't it?
Yeah. Fucked my whole day up.
What was the result? What happened?
Oh, shit. Okay, we're over 6 million. What's happening here? We're at a slump. I mean, I'm doing this like this is my job. A, because I want to figure out how to protect my future.
Nothing wrong with that.
But B, also as a point of contention, as a point, it's like, dude, if I can do this in 4 days, how come you couldn't do this in 14 years? Or even me, or show any sort of attempt or desire. Well, diversify, pull off 50 grand and have somebody professionally trade it in the commodities market. As I'm telling him to buy gold or do something. There's no attempt here. He hasn't done shit since 2009. There's been no attempt to do anything. And what he put me in 2009 is partially politically motivated and horrible agendas. I mean, what? Coke, Pepsi, McDonald's, Warner Brothers? These are all the woke companies. Go woke, go broke? And look, and you think he got me out of him? You haven't heard that expression?
GoPro?
No. I wish I was on GoPro at the Kickstarter, and all of their competitors. You know how many of those I've tried to throw at him that he's just ignored over the years? I said there's an email I pulled up from 2018. Saying, look, dude, I've been telling you about this for years now, but 2 years already. But this augmented reality thing, I think I clipped the article. I think it's on that page about my mom. Where, look, dude, here's your chance to go out as a hero. Go share this with your colleagues. Here's a way we can all make money. It doesn't have to be just about me. Have your colleagues look at this and tell me what they think. Maybe they'll all disagree with me and tell me I'm crazy, or they might say, hey, the boy's got something here. You think that ever happened once? No, I needed to get reimbursed for my phone bills. I had to print my phone bill and bring it to his office. He would not set up auto pay. He would not print out the email. If I didn't want to bring it to his office, I got to drop it off with his doormat in his house. Think the dude ever offered me fucking a cup of coffee once? Every month I had to do this for 14 years. And I had to do this twice a month because my bills came in staggered to get reimbursed because I've got $600 a week to live off of. Because I'm pursuing the next thing, virtual reality. I'm pursuing I'm building my Facebook page. You think the guy helped me out with a nickel? Or not my Facebook page, but Friends Over 50. I had to beg for scraps. There was no, you think there's like, here, dude, here, let me fill your fridge while you're sitting here slaving here and grinding? No. I have to, I need to get my electricity bill paid and my internet bill paid. So I got to, waste a day going downtown to his office then to wait for him to go write a check to pay the bill and wait for the check to clear. You know how many times my electricity got shut off in the last 14 years? It's wrong, dude. This guy, right. So, I need your help. Hunting this motherfucker down. I need access to my resources in order to hunt this motherfucker down. Because I'm going after him. I'm going after the firm. I'm going after all the board members of the trust of my mother's foundation who allowed this to happen. Allowed the trust to go broke, let alone investigate what the hell has happened. I pulled up, what was it? This guy's, I'm trying to get an audit. I've been trying to get a statement. I need to know what the fuck happened to my money over the last 36 years. Now that he's trying to walk away and die. No. It says what is it? I can pull up the thing but I got it highlighted in blue. That you're legally required to give the beneficiary of the full all the info and all the data. And you can see I've been trying to get that for years. So how do we go about doing that? How can you help me do that? And we can try to start establishing a boundary of trust.
So do you have one of the forms was it says online access?
Mm-hmm.
That first PDF.
Can you just give me a balance? I really don't want to. I don't want to log in anything because I'm afraid that makes me liable, and so I'm not looking necessarily. I don't know where I'm at the moment. I know I do need help investing and someone to take care and someone to, but at the same time, I'm not looking to get into another relationship like I've had with him where I'm put on a dole and people are fucking with me, or all of a sudden my money can disappear, or someone who's not going to listen to me and not going to and is going to do the same shit that he's been doing. Oh, we're going to conservative invest. And then all of a sudden, and I also don't want to get caught in these bank runs, dude. We're not in a good place. They've spent us into poverty. We are living on borrowed time. That market shut down yesterday might have just been a test to see if they could do it. The World Economic Forum was talking about just yesterday about hacks, and they've been talking about EMPs for 2 years now. And wiping out the entire system. If you watch any of the Patriot reports and people who got banned from YouTube for actually telling the truth, they're all warning of economic collapse. Do you have food storage? You got guns, by the way?
I don't, but I'm thinking about it.
All right. Hey, man, it's okay if we're all. There's so many people that are on the wrong side of this. It's like, what hill are you going to die on? Are you really going to sit here and try to tell me that they're doing the right thing and they're doing a good job and there's not something fucked up going on? This COVID thing wasn't bullshit? Did they get you with the jab?
What?
The vaccine?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, my wife works at a hospital, so
she had to.
Yeah.
What's your stance on that one, my friend, if we're having honest conversations?
Well, I did it as well.
Okay. All right.
The last one I haven't recently reacted.
Dude, I went and got, it cost $2,000 worth of shots before I was going to go to Asia. In 2000, when I was going to go try to meet my friend's name is Chris, so we'll just refer to him as Chris, in Sri Lanka. And I went and got, I got $2,000 worth of shots. I had to go back twice because they had to stick me with so many needles. Like they didn't want to overload me. So I was not anti-vax. I'm anti-fucking creepy government people and evil lizard overlords. That's and it seems that, and I didn't know that they existed prior to 2020. So I've become full, but let me tell you another funny thing, if I may, and just let you also understand where I'm coming from, because I feel this is important for some reason, because everybody else seems to have a hard time with this. My mother, and therefore we hated Donald Trump growing up. All right. Every time that guy came on the television, my mom would flip the channel because she thought he was disgusting and a huckster, and watched him declare bankruptcy and somehow manage to reemerge. And she would give him, and we would agree on the fact that he's a good marketer, and somehow he manages to keep himself relevant, and why people pay attention we did not understand, we're irritated by. So I grew up and, and I watched this show. I watched a couple of seasons of The Apprentice, and thought it was, it was good TV. Better than the other reality TV bullshit that was on at the time. And it was interesting to me, same way I felt about the one that 50 Cent did on MTV, which is a similar thing where they're talking about business and teaching people how to, So I watched The Prophet, I watched, Shark Tank, I watched all those shows.
Yeah.
But those are the ones, I never watched The Kardashians. I didn't watch any, the Housewives or the Bad Girls.
Those are different. Yeah,
I didn't watch any of those. But the ones that were oriented to business, if they came on, or I'd TiVo it or something, and I'd fast forward through the commercials, and I'd watch them on YouTube later on. So again, because that's making money has been my focus since I was 14 years old. I went to Francis Parker, and I was the odd kid out because I couldn't afford to go anywhere. I couldn't afford to go skiing with the kids in Aspen. I couldn't afford to go to the East Bank Club with every other kid in my high school. So that was, I wanted to be like the other kids. I wasn't looking to, have my million. I started trading when I was a kid, and nobody else was. I had nobody to talk to about stocks and bonds as a kid until, there were some guys running on the floor later on. He was telling me, he used to keep his calendars and his pip charts in paper books. I saw somebody doing that on Instagram the other day, and I'm like, "What are they doing?" It's like, no. That's how you kept track. That was the chart. I'm like, oh,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
almanac every month.
I mean, they were, his dad's friends with the guy who created CQG or CQG. Do I have that right? CQG. Yeah. Okay, I get them. That's the dyslexia thing. The Great British Pound, I get when I'm trying to say it real fast and just the abbreviation, I screw it up every time, and I feel it retarded. But that's also one of the struggles I've been dealing with, which is how this guy was able to take advantage of me and get him to, So first and foremost, I need to get an accounting and a history of trust one. I need somebody to go to bat for me. I've been reaching out to friends and family who've turned a blind eye and turned their backs on me.
And what are they?
Nothing.
Are they?
No.
Do they have access to it or anything?
No, they've been copied on these emails since March. One guy stood up and said he was going to, out of loyalty to Marge, my mother, that this doesn't sound right, and we went around and around, and I'm like, real time information. Let me see what the fuck's happening to my money in real time. I can see what's going on in my bank account. I've been able to, in my Chase account, I've been able to see that since 1982. Whose name was on that one? What's that?
Whose name was on that one? Whose name was on that?
The Alexander Gordon Barnett Trust number 1, and then Milton T. Lefton put his name on there as trustee in 2007, I guess.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that.
No, of course not. He didn't bother to tell you about that. You see, it says trust number 2. He didn't tell you about trust number 1 that he intentionally divested, if not also stole. Because I have no idea. I know he billed me for $10,000 in order to get a copy of the trust, and I got a statement from a handwritten Bernie Madoff style statement from 2009. I demanded to know how much I was worth the day my mom died. And since then, I've been asking to know what I was worth the day he shut down my website, which was in 2007, or January or December of 2006. And you think, no response. Zero response. Motherfucker, this is my money. What happened what was the result of the AIG trade? There's probably 30 emails. How much did you sell AIG for? How much did I buy for? What was it worth at its peak? How many times did it split? I called compliance, asked them the same question. No response.
Yeah. So
I've been dealing with this for a year and change. What's that?
Address-wise, how can I reach you?
Yeah, no, I'm homeless, dude. I don't have an address. This motherfucker's left me homeless for a year and a half. My trustee.
Do you have a P.O. box? I know a P.O. box.
I mean, obviously, I have a place that I can get mail. I mean, it's his office. But as far as anybody's concerned, I'm fucking homeless, dude. I've been trying to buy a house for 30 years, and I've been homeless for a year and a half, living in this fucking bus. It's 19 feet long. My mother's apartment was 3,500 square feet. My last apartment was 35. The last house I was at was 5,000 square feet with a pool. I'm fucking homeless because I started asking questions. How are we going to deal with that?
So you could be set up, where it's online statements and where you can see everything online. But what physical address can I use?
You can't. Again, I am homeless. I need to call this Mickey Lefton and say, what the fuck did you do to this kid? And we need information on Trust One. We need all the documentation on Trust One before we can move any further. I've had my life this again, 1985. I need an audit. He's legally required to give me an audit.
You haven't had anything at all?
No. Nothing.
Anything at all?
Nothing. And I've been demanding this since I got evicted in August since I got homeless. Dude, where the fuck did my money go? I need an audit. I want to see a performance review. And I've been asking for that since 2018, actually, when he cut me off, when he refused to let me go to Sri Lanka.
Have you been getting information on Trust 2?
I get a thing I was getting a thing in the mail. I don't know whether they were once a year, quarterly reports. I don't know how many times they came in. And then I also got a thing where I had to pay my, sign for my tax returns. But that stopped 5 years ago. And he says you don't have to pay tax if you're not making money. I'm like, what do you mean? I haven't made any money in 5 years? What's going on here?
So that first PDF has the online access. The second one, do you have a bank account?
I have a Chase account, and I have I opened up a separate one for my trading account at America First.
Because we can set it up where we would deposit money into that Chase account. So that second PDF, the direct deposit form, so we can deposit funds into that account. And then the third PDF is just a client contact form, which is general information there, and then that W-9. So then that way we can go ahead and deposit funds into your Chase account. And that first one is for online access. You can get statements online.
That's actually the least of my concerns. I'll be honest with you. Despite the fact that I'm overdrafted, I'm furious about that fact. I want to know how you're going to make me money moving forward. How you're going to correct his fuck-ups of the past 14 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be the conversation that we're having. Is what the hell is? Look, dude, I'm looking at this thing. You've been fucked, and here's what we're going to do to make this better. Does that look like a conservative investment strategy to you?
Does far as the way it is currently?
Yeah. What would you call that?
You know.
Would you call that a breach of fiduciary duty?
If you don't know what's involved in it?
I mean, has anything been bought? Has anything been sold? Has anything been traded? Has there been an accounting? Has there been an accounting of this trust?
Yeah.
I mean, have you got the full history of this going back to 2009 when this was formed? You bring you all the paperwork?
So I've got...
Or did he just send you an online, he just transfer the file name or the online account access number? How does actually... Is there any paperwork that was signed? Why doesn't my name have to be on the paperwork? You realize he did all of this behind my back.
So yeah, there's primary stocks. We can go over those if you want, so you know what's in here. And then we can set that up where you can see.
I'd like to know what he's sold out of that. I'd like to know how many you know what my profit has been on that. What he's done to actually anything you can find that he's done to actually grow that account.
Yeah, because I've got the accounting. I think that was sent over.
An accounting that's an accounting provided by him.
Yeah.
He didn't do an independent one. Well, that's definitely necessary, and I can understand why you wouldn't. And I'm not gonna bust your balls over that. But understanding this guy's a fucking scumbag, we need an independent audit, forensic accounting of both this trust and the other one, and my mother's affairs.
Yeah. So let's see. We've got AT&T, American Electric Power, Avanos Medical, Campbell Soup, Cisco, Coke, ConocoPhillips. All equities.
Well, take a look at the purchase date.
So, way back. They've been quite a few years back as far as the basis.
Let's also take a look at the North Star Investment Fund, NSOIX, or Opportunity Index Fund.
So that one, I don't have that.
Really? There was 2,000 shares of the Opportunity Index Fund bought in 2009. That's their in-house fund. There's not 2,000 shares bought of anything else in my portfolio. A couple here, a couple there, a couple nickels, a couple dimes, a couple quarters. A hundy here, a Benji here and there. A couple hundred here, but there's 2,000 in that. And if you take a look at it, it's lost money over the period of time. Hasn't fucking performed. If so, barely. And when it was the peak, he certainly did not sell it and has since crashed.
Was it the growth fund or?
North Star Opportunity Index Fund.
Okay.
Now, I have to assume there's a conflict of interest in there. I'm assuming he was paid. Why would I have so much of that bullshit? And you look who's in there. By the way, if you can look up the Opportunity Index Fund and who they've invested in, it's BlackRock, it's Vanguard, it's State Street. They did get an NVIDIA, which was smart, but I mean it's the motherfuckers. Same thing with the companies he's invested in. U.S. Bank out of Chicago, there's some connection there. IT International Toolworks has donated all the same charities that have been donated to on the Illinois Trust Works or what is it? Illinois Toolworks
ITW.
Charitable, ITW. Their charitable organization donates to the exact same places that he donated to out of my mother's foundation. Coincidence? Come on. There's all these other coincidences that have also taken place. Like the fact that my mom's attorney somehow became his attorney and somehow they're now double billing me for, and he's, not supporting the son of the beneficiary of this trust, which apparently he's probably been collecting fees on now for decades, is now working against me in cahoots with this motherfucker and his firm. I reached out to their compliance officer. I wrote emails to all of the principals. I got blocked.
Where did that?
They blocked my emails. They sat the two of those motherfuckers, Kubi and Gottlieb. They brought me in when Mickey was coming in. They sat me down in their office and got me wanting my business. I'm what year is this? I'm 38. Here's multi-millionaire dollar 38-year-old account coming in. With his mom who's got, I don't know, what is she at, 7 assets, probably closer to 10, which he dumped in the middle of the crash. And at a small private unadvertised auction at Leslie Hyman Galleries, who also happens to donate to a handful of the same charities. Random, obscure, small, no-name charities. You don't think they all bought my mom's shit at bargain basement prices at the bottom of the crash? They took all of her art, took all of her furniture, took all of her. I don't know who bought the apartment itself at the bottom of the market. For under $1 million. At the peak, it was worth, what, 2.7?
Big difference,
yeah. So, all right. First of all, we need to get it. I don't know what's. There's a couple of positions in there that are worth holding on to, but not many, as you can see. Do I have a tax person? Who's going to be handling my taxes? Who's going to be second guessing your work? Because I'm not walking into anything blind without oversight. Yeah. I need someone second guessing and double checking your work who's not Cyrus.
Yeah, we've got that.
We? Okay. No. Okay.
That do our taxes.
Well, I don't know why the person who's been doing my taxes for the past 50 years, it should change.
Do you like that person?
As a matter of fact, she's also refused me information for my tax returns. Danielle Winky, I believe is her name, over at Osprey and whatnot. Now, I went and asked her because I'm trying to find out what the fuck has happened. I'm trying to get, maybe I can get my tax returns from her so she can show me what my net worth was for the past, prior. And she says that
she do good work.
I have no fucking idea, but she told me she couldn't give me any information, that she can only give it to Mickey.
Okay.
This is my account. I'm the beneficiary. I'm being stonewalled and kept in the dark and grifted. Certainly not made any money. And in the meantime, where the fuck did the rest of it go? And what did he? And again, most importantly, what did he do to me in 2008? Did he do the same thing to me in 2008 intentionally that he did here in 2020? And 20. He dragged me into 20 also. I mean, this shit's intentional. This is criminal. This is criminal.
Opportunity fund.
This is right. There you go. Right. Now you have to imagine there's some sort of financial incentive for him to be putting all that money in there and to buy that many shares. And especially if he saw that it wasn't performing, he should have gotten the fuck out. I'm sorry, dude. I realize I've just become comfortable with cussing. I'm so sorry. I'm just angry. And I've been furious like this for a year and a half. At the end of my rope for a year and a half. And before that, it was escalating when it was about a year and a half when I realized that he's going to do this to me. He's going to drag me into this crash. A, the crash is coming, and B, he's going to drag me into it because I've been already for a year and a half been writing him emails every day and text messaging him 2 or 3 times a day, and he's still not making any moves. He's still not buying gold. He's still not buying chrome or gunpowder. I told him we're going to war back in 2020. I said, if they do this, we are going to war. Mail-in ballots. You know what's coming. And all right, so Well, how are we going to
So
get legal? I need to hire an attorney first, and I don't know about whether that's first and foremost, but that's at the very top of my list of things. I'm going to ask you to ask them, North Star, him, his attorney, getting the info on Trust One and I realize that you're legally not required to by the trust code, but I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. Because otherwise I need to pull my, I'm all of a sudden my alarm bells are raised up, and I definitely don't want to be moving forward with this. I don't want to be moving forward with this in the first place. I was told I was going to be set free. If we're going to, we want to open up a banking and investment relationship, that's one thing, but I'm not looking for a caretaker. I need to make that very clear.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, you saw that he said he was going to release me and he was going to give me my fucking freedom, and he didn't.
And where did that go? How did that?
There's three. You saw what happened. I got blindsided. Here we are. There are 3 emails in there. I'll liquidate. I'll release the trust. I demanded his immediate resignation before he lost me. I mean, and then I need a lawyer in July. He intentionally lost me $180,000. I need to have this stopped. And then then he lost, another 200, 300 after that? Between then and the end of the year? I've been decimated here, dude, and we need to find out how bad. Or, I don't know, you and I need to figure out, we're going to have to go to court. So I'd rather have you be my friend. I'd rather work together on this, and we can have a wonderful long-term relationship. If not, this guy's put you in a bad situation.
Okay. That's the best way to go. So I guess we can start where you can see the statements and see the account. So that first PDF I sent you, if you want to pull that up, we can go over it now.
No. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have you contact these criminals via email's fine. Copy me on it. Let me know that this got sent out, that we're actively trying to track down all of the details for Trust One and get the audit that's legally required by the court, by the state, in all trust matters, that he is clearly and intentionally violated. I mean, it's here. I can pull it up. I can read it off to you. You want to pull up that email that I sent to you, the one with my mother's thing? We can go through that together. What it says here from the Illinois Trust thing about what that motherfucker was. I'm sorry. Thank you for tolerating this. Thank you for being cool about this. I'm sorry to have you put up with my foul mouth. When I don't think about it, I have to actively concentrate on not cussing. That's what this has come to. That's where this man has brought me. All right. Breach of trust, fiduciary rule. That was okay. That was July. Having reached out to their. Here, I'll send you that link. Where are we here? Trust One. Again, I'm on the wrong page. Where's my money, Mom? Just had it. Open letters. I mean, there was no mincing about it. There's 36 letters here. Every single one of them since and I started working on this website in July. Every single one of these 36 posts is a formal demand for an audit and an account history and a performance review. Every last single one of them. And he's got the nerve to just, hang on, where view report, share post, view post. All right. All right, here we go. I just had it. All right, duty to inform an account. I mean, very simple. It applies to all trusts created under a trust instrument that became irrevocable before the effective date of 2020. This was established in 1985. You must at least annually furnish the beneficiaries that entitled to receive or receiving the income from the trust estate, or if none, then to those beneficiaries eligible that have the benefit of the income. There is no income from the trust estate. This guy's intention. Okay. C. Every trustee shall, upon termination of the trust, furnish to the beneficiaries, that's me, then entitled to distribution of the trust estate, a final account for the period from the date of the last current account to the date of distribution, showing the inventory of the trust estate, the receipts, disbursements, distributions, and make available to the beneficiaries copies of prior accounts not previously furnished. He owes me everything. Am I mistaken? Is there, anything in the duty to disclose in the trustee's bond that leaves any room for interpretation? That this guy's just been an asshole? And just violating, just blatantly going against the law. I'm sorry. So, I've been trying. I've been ignored and refused and stonewalled. I'm hoping that you can try on my behalf.
Have you reached out in a while?
What's that?
Have you reached out in a while?
Dude, every day. Every day there's you see when these posts are sent. Every day I'm sending these things. I'm not just sending him emails or trying to call him up on the phone. I'm sending this out to the entire world. And there's 30 people that I copy on this. 22 to 26. The family and friends that obviously don't give a shit. But I'm still copying on that anyway. Red pilling a bunch of people along the way with some terrible truths. But
so I've got
we also would need an independent audit of trust too, and 1, 2, and my mom's. So What's
I'm
the
not familiar with one.
Well, I know.
I
know. That's the one that was started in 1985 and that he decimated. That was the one that he crashed in 2008, like he crashed again in 2022. There is, as far as I know, there is no more trust one because he's decimated it intentionally. Hence all of those emails.
Yes, for now.
He forced me to spend that on rent instead of a mortgage, instead of building equity. He forced me to spend it on rent. Do you own your own house?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know anybody our age? How old are you?
About the same as you, actually. We're the same. Sounds like we're the same.
We're the same age, right? Do anybody you know our age not own their own house that still rents?
Yeah, a few. Especially,
yeah. Well, for what reason do they rent? They have no interest. They've done it before. They sold out. They don't want the hassles.
Correct.
But they've done it before.
Yeah.
Okay, so at one point or another, everyone you know has owned their own home.
Not everyone. No, not everyone.
Okay.
Some just because it's less of a hassle.
Okay, but that was their choice. I didn't have that choice. I had that choice stolen from me. She stole the American dream from me. Now, that should piss you off based on what the mission statement of your bank is and who the communities are that you serve. Those are people who are coming to try to establish and get a piece of the American dream. I see you give out home loans to all kinds of people.
That is true.
You're probably the easiest person to get a home loan through in America. Right? I can't imagine
I don't know about the easiest, but yeah, there are quite a few. Yeah.
How come, he didn't get me a home loan through you guys over the past 30 years? How come I don't have a real estate empire and have income property at this stage of the game? I mean, these are all things that I've documented in emails to him over the years. And, what the fuck, dude? Again, I'm sorry again with the cussing.
Well, it's something to work towards, though. I mean, it's not like it's the end.
Well, I mean, now that I'm $3 million lighter, it's going to be a little bit harder. Now that my mom's, $7 million is gone, it's going to be a little bit harder. Yeah. So, do you have an attorney?
not impossible.
Does the bank have an attorney, somebody who can represent me in chasing these people, so it's not going to further liquidate my resources? I tried to get an attorney, and like I told you, he bankrupted me for doing so. $100,000 is now no longer there. He could have made money on that.
I don't know if we have it in-house for those types of matters.
All right. Well, if I were to sue you guys, who would be protecting you guys?
We have attorneys for that, but I guess they're on retainer.
Okay, can I talk to one of those guys?
I don't know.
All right. Apparently, I need to put an attorney on retainer.
As far as the trust, then I'd say the easiest thing to do at this point, so you can see the statements, so you can see the activity in the account, is to that first PDF is the online access.
I am afraid that the moment that I click on that, that all of a sudden that opens me up to some legal liability that I've accepted the terms of this transfer, which I have not.
Oh, I got you.
You've seen that. You saw that letter too. The
PDF document.
You saw that right of refusal, go fuck yourself letter that I wrote to them in legalese, right? It was like 4 pages long. You retroactively did this. You won't give me this. So I'm afraid the moment that I open up that email and I take a single payment from you, all of a sudden that says that I've legally determined that this is acceptable and I've acquiesced to how this is being handled.
I got you.
I don't.
I got you. Yeah. Well, it's not related to that at all in terms of like the.
Well, that's certainly what someone's going to tell me if they're trying to legally rope me into something. This guy has been lying to me for years, so you'll have to forgive me if I don't trust the guy who's now telling me how my money's going to be handled. Yeah. You're not saying, hey, man, let's get this thing sorted and get this thing signed back into your name. That's not what I'm hearing from you. I read those emails. I saw what he said he was going to do. I'll go back and read them again. You saw what this guy had said he was going to do, and you saw what he did.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
So if this is going to turn into a bank account, that might be one story. You're going to be my investment manager. That might be another story. But if I'm opening up emails and taking cash from under these terms, that's not agreeable to me. And I think I need to make that very clear.
So that's an option as well, as far as opening a bank account. That's an option as well.
Okay, what is it going to cost me to liquidate those positions? How does that work? This was never explained to me. I was told that you don't want to sell those, you got to pay capital gains taxes and other shit. If I reinvest this into something else, do I still pay capital gains? Does that work like real estate does? Where you have a year to reinvest the capital gains?
No.
Yeah,
okay. You mean like a 1031 exchange? No.
Okay. Again, I don't know how these work. Nobody's told me shit for 30 years.
Right.
And it's left me in the dark. I guess I could Google it, but here we are.
Because the only way for us to, we can work with you.
I mean, as far as the trust goes, the trust needs to be terminated. This was done under false pretenses. The thing was originally signed over and created under false pretenses. And he stole my freedom from me for the past 30 years under false pretenses on the rewrite of Trust 1, which I have documented for you in that letter, along with the original trust documents. So I think I'm going to have to ask you to spend some more time digging through that. And in the meantime, also ask you if you want to politely ask you to reach out to North Star, Milton Lefton, and his attorney and demand all of the information about Trust 1. Trade history. We need to do a forensic audit at their expense. And let's see. And I don't expect him to respond. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to expect him to respond. I expect him to stonewall you and tell you to go fuck yourself too. Is that is that possible? Can we do that? See what happens? You want me to write the letter for you?
I need to reach out to him anyway.
What's that?
I do need to reach out to him.
Okay.
I do need to reach out to him.
And I'd go in there if I were you. I'd go in there pissed. You don't deserve this. You didn't need this. I understand you're probably just trying to do your job and do a good job at that and do well for people. But this guy put you in a bad situation.
So I guess from here, when you get a chance, if you can send those, I mean, it sounds like there's a little mistrust. But
A little.
when you get a chance,
Understatement of a lifetime.
Well, I mean, not in relation to him, but for us. Because the only way to send money over is going to be that, we can't sell money over to you.
I understand. Well, we need to dissolve the trust. And I don't know what it takes to do that, but I'm not. But if I'm cool to start. To start a banking relationship. But again, I'm not looking. This guy Britney Spears me, dude, and then he Kanye'd me, and then he Shirley Templed me. So we need to find out how we can how to get this trust resolved. I'd like to set up a Forex account that I can actually trade decent money with. Nothing crazy, 10 grand or something. See if I can actually make something of this. I don't know. There should be at least 700.
Through TradingView.
What's that? Yeah.
Which one do you have through TradingView?
I'm using just the paper trading on TradingView. I don't actually have an account set up on there. I set it up on my phone through MT5 and Owanda.
Yeah.
And that's what. I've just been using the TradingView for charts, but I need actually. I don't know that I upgraded. I got the free trial, and they're gonna and I'd like to keep that because it's really fantastic, and
it is great.
And if I can, I guess when we get to it, that's something I'm gonna need to requisition or whatnot, but. So what would we need to do about? Are you amenable to having the trust resolved and opening up a banking relationship, or are we going to have a problem? Is that going to become a problem?
I'll have to check with.
Okay, is that internally or back with the guy who's gave you to me? Okay, cool. Please use my documentation in the conversation. As a matter of fact, I'd like to be a part of that conversation. I'm a sales guy. That's how I've gotten to where I'm this or survived this far. And the first thing that you learn is you don't want somebody else delivering your pitch. You don't want somebody. You don't want to. I want to talk to the guy, the decision maker, the guy who can was run. I don't want somebody running it up the flagpole because my pitch is better than yours. It's my story.
That's true.
As
because of the conviction.
Okay, cool. And it's real shit. Okay. I mean, it's a real. God, stop with the cussing, kids. Sorry. All right, Steve.
Okay.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's. I'm gonna try to hit you up before the end of the day. See if we made any headway. See what they said, or if you want to give me a call back. I'll wait for you. Tell you what, I'll wait for you. I won't be. And let's hope I'll hear back from you before end of biz or first thing tomorrow. At least let me know that they didn't answer and they're stonewalling you or this, Let me know what's going on. All right, man. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
All right, later.
Yeah.
baby. Come on, baby. Push new heights. Overture curtain lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing apart. We know every part by heart. Overture curtain lights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Why does power corrupt? Well, let's take a look at the human species. Humans are compassionate and loving, gracious, kind, generous people. We are simultaneously greedy, jealous, envious, angry. We're a mixed bag. And if you give one of the human species power, which part of ourselves uses it? Love? Love does not need power, people. It flowers from the heart. Grace? Grace certainly needs no power. Compassion, generosity. No, these are simply things that flow from our good nature. What uses power? Well, greed certainly needs power, doesn't it? If you have enough power, you can take any fucking thing you want. Anger. Oh, anger definitely would love some power, but would it not? Envy? Well, with power, whatever you're envious of, you can duplicate on your own. No, it is that negative, unsocial, not life-supporting part of the human animal that needs power. Nothing else needs power. And so we give people power over others through government, through military, and we expect them not to be corrupt. Wake up, people. Be very cautious who you give power to. Thank you.